presentation of the business statement. I would want to find out from the Honourable Majority Leader if he can be a bit more specific on the COVID-19 testing arrangements that are being put in place. When do you anticipate that you will be ready for honourable members to present themselves for the test? Because that's very, very important. But you fell short of giving us specific dates of when you think that the arrangements will be concluded. And finally, Mr. Speaker, there are major security matters following from the elections. People have been killed. The IGP appeared before us before the elections and took responsibility that he is in charge of the election security task force. Can the task force appear before us to answer questions on matters to do with security, lives that have been lost, and all the security challenges we have faced with the election? It's a very important matter, either before Tuesday or when we reconvene on the 4th. I think we should create some window for the IGP and members of the task force to appear before this House. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Relating to COVID-19 testing, the details are being worked out, and in the fullness of time, the details will be given to members. Certainly not beyond the 22nd of
Well, you had Okujeto Ablakwa, the Member of Parliament there. Also, you had the Majority Leader. They're talking about Ms. Okujeto Ablakwa is talking about security in Parliament. Indeed, is considering a request by the minority as we speak for the IGP, James Opon-Boyenu, to be summoned before the House. And then the Majority Speaker was speaking about COVID-19, which is a bigger conversation we'll be having shortly. Joseph, do I still have you there? Right. So what is the nature of this COVID-19 test? First of all, clear it out for me if there was an agreement for the IGP to show up in Parliament, and when.
When Mr. Okujeto Ablakwa made the request, the Majority Leader, Chairman Sabunsu, said that it's a call in the right direction because, of course, the IGP, James Opon-Boyenu, was the chair of the Election Security Task Force, and then he explained that the leadership of the House will discuss that and come to a conclusion on when exactly, whether it will be sometime before Tuesday when the House will take its break, or when this House resumes on the 4th of January before it eventually expires on the 6th of January. That decision will be taken and communicated subsequently. The bit about the COVID-19 testing, the Majority Leader indicated that following the very vigorous nature of the campaigning that had been seen and MPs running around in their constituencies and elsewhere, in order to be sure that they are healthy and all, there will be the rolling out of a testing for all MPs, details of which will be communicated to MPs soon, because then it is still being planned. In fact, the question came from Mr. Ablakwa when the Majority Leader first announced it as to how soon this will happen and whether it will happen before the Christmas break on 22nd December. And the Majority Leader said that is being done. And the main objective of that is to ensure that MPs are healthy enough going into the new year, even after the very vigorous campaigning, and how the MPs had come into contact with a lot of people from across the country as far as the electioneering 2020 is concerned.
Certainly, I can tell with the sweat I see on your face that it's been vigorous in the House. Joseph, well, I'm wrapping up right now, but is there anything else you need to bring us up to speed on that happened in Parliament today? Otherwise, that'll be it for me for now.
The Majority Leader laid out the details of what the House will be doing going into next week before they eventually take their break. Now it's confirmed that the President's final State of the Nation address that he's supposed to deliver to Parliament will come on sometime between the 4th and the 6th of January, right after the Christmas break, before the House eventually gets dissolved. The Majority Leader did lay out those details and urged MPs to come around even as they take their break next week, Tuesday, and return on the 4th of January. Gifty.
Much very detailed report indeed. Joseph Opoku Gakpo there, he's our man on in Parliament, bringing us up to speed. So a lot is happening in Parliament.